Boss currently have 4 different chorus pedals in their range of compact pedals. I'm going to go through what the main differences are between them and hopefully help you to choose the right one for you. I'll start with the CE2w, which is the reissue of the original CE2 that came out in '79. The main characteristics of the CE2w for me are the warm mid-range focus sound that it has to the EQ, as well as the smooth, natural sounding sweep to the waveform of the modulation. Just makes it really musical and easy to get along with. Just be aware, on the standard CE2 mode, the range of the rate and depth controls are pretty limited. The rate won't go super fast, and the depth control, even at full tilt, won't get you those intense throbbing chorus sounds that some of these other pedals can give you. Standard mode for me is more about warm, smooth, mellow chorus sounds. The CE1 setting has a much deeper modulation sound, but it still can't go very fast using the rate control. The third mode, the vibrato mode, solves that problem. It can go really fast and it keeps the deep modulation sound of that CE1 setting. For me, the CE2w is really versatile, but I'd recommend it most to people who want a really smooth sounding, mid-focused analog chorus sound. It can do faster, more intense sort of throbbing type chorus sounds as well, but it's always going to have that natural smooth sound to the waveform. If you want some of those crazier sounds, I think some of these other pedals can do that a little bit better if that's what you're into. Next, the DC2w is a reissue of the original DC2, which is a more compact version of the Roland SDD320 rack unit. Each of the 4 buttons create a deeper, faster chorus sound as you move from left to right. So button number 1 is the most mild and button number 4 is the most intense. And as far as I can tell, the DC2 is all about bright, shimmery chorus sounds. I'll just quickly run through the 4 main modes. So you can probably tell it doesn't get very fast or intense even on setting 4. So no fast wobbly vibrato settings here. It does have its own overall character though, and a really good stereo mode, which I'll talk about later as well. But you can combine 2 of the settings as well, but because each individual setting is kind of so subtle, when you combine them, it doesn't dramatically change the sound or anything. Overall, it's still the same type of chorus sound. There is another setting worth mentioning on the DC2, and that's the SDD320 setting. And to my ears, that just adds a bit of a presence boost. It just adds even more brightness and shimmeriness to that chorus sound. And for me, that's what the DC2 is all about, really. It's about mild, bright, clear sounding analog chorus. I'll play it on that SDD320 setting as well as standard setting, and I'll play it against the CE2 and see if you can hear the difference in tone, that mid-focus of the CE2 against the brighter, clearer sound of the DC2. Next is the CH1, which was originally released in '89 and started out as an analog pedal. This is the more modern digital version. I've got quite a soft spot for the CH1 because I used it for a long time when I was in a covers band, and it worked really well for me. It's got a darker, more neutral sound to the EQ than the others. It's not mid-focus like the CE2, it's not super bright and shimmery like the DC2. It's just slightly more darker and neutral sounding. It's also got a different curve, I think, to the modulation waveform. If the CE2 and the DC2 are sort of smooth S shapes, then I would say the CH1 is more like a V shape. It's just sounds a little bit more abrupt. It doesn't sound bad, it's just a little bit more intense than the others that we've tried so far. I might be wrong on that, but see what you think. Even though it has more controls than the CE2 or the DC2, I actually find the CH1 easier to use than those pedals, just because the controls are really clearly laid out. It's nice and versatile. You can get a decent wobble on it as well as the more subtle chorus sounds. And if I was to summarize the CH1, it's the easy to use, do everything, super versatile chorus pedal out of these four. Like the CH1, the first versions of the CE5, which were released in '91, were originally analog pedals. This is one of the more recent digital versions. There is something about the inherent EQ of the CE5 for me that always wants to be in a bit of a mid-scoop. It does have these high and low cut filters, which when you turn them to the left, they cut the highs or the lows. Even though you can use them in extreme ways and you could try and manipulate the sound quite a bit, I found when, say, I tried to cut them to create a mid boost like the CE2, it just took away the inherent character of the CE5. It always wanted to do this kind of modern sounding mid scoop thing. They were really good for just fine tuning the EQ, but beyond that, I couldn't really get sounds that I really liked. So just bear in mind that's what I've found with this pedal. As a result, it just lends itself to more modern sounds, I think. It's got this kind of modern mid-scoopy sound and lends itself to guitars with humbuckers because they're a bit more mid-focused. It sort of opens them up a little bit and works well with overdrive as well. About the CE5 is that it's great at doing those more extreme settings. There's loads of range in the rate and depth controls, and the waveform is really deep and sharp, and while it can do those more subtle sounds, it's really good at doing those crazy space alien type chorus sounds. That for me is what really sets this pedal apart from the rest. Quick word about the stereo outputs on these pedals. When you're using both outputs, output A is always the modulated sound and output B is the regular direct sound, apart from on the DC2. The DC2 I think either modulates both signals in opposite directions or it might use phasing, I'm not really sure, but I haven't got time to set up a whole nother amp and mic it all up and everything right now. So I just thought I should mention that the DC2 does process the stereo signals in a much different way to all the others. I'll round things up just by running through each pedal on the settings that I think best highlight the main character of each pedal. These are just my opinions and how I tend to use these pedals. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments as well. The CE2 is what I would use if I wanted a smooth, mid-range focused, warm sounding analog chorus. If I wanted a brighter, shimmery, clearer sounding chorus, I would use probably the DC2. The CH1 is my all-round kind of versatile, do everything chorus that's nice and easy to use. And the CE5 is, for me, the more modern chorus pedal with a bit of a mid-scoop, sounds really good with distortion and really good on the intense settings as well. If you're thinking about buying any of these pedals, I've got links to some good prices down in the description. Those are affiliate links, so it does help the channel a little bit if you use those links. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, think about liking the video and maybe subscribing to the channel if you want to see more videos like this, exploring guitar sounds.